place at the Blizzard World Championship. And now, I mean, they're facing off against each other. Bomber, who just never seems to die, and Polt, who, well, just doesn't lose to anybody but Leenock. It's going to be a crazy match, and we're going to be starting with game number 1 on Entombed Valley here.
Yeah, I believe Polt really wants to get his revenge, because it's actually Leenock and Violet that are in the winners finals right now. So if Leenock, of course, loses, he will have to play against Polt, and I'm sure Polt is ready to go.
That will be some pretty exciting stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started here with the first match of the day. It is Bomber versus Polt on Entombed Valley. Here we go. It is IPL5.
Welcome to IPL5 Entombed Valley.
Man, sick intros. I've had fun watching those all weekend in the crowd, and I actually get to see it up here too. It's so awesome seeing production being done by the GSL crew. Hand of applause for them guys. They've been doing awesome all weekend. I know everyone's been talking about it, but seriously, freaking awesome.
I just love that horn.
Yeah. You can actually hear it up here. I thought that Tastes couldn't hear it. He was just making things up, but actually, it's pretty darn loud. So in the top right corner, guys, as your red Terran player, I think he's going to win this series. It's going to be StarTale's very own.
Startale Bomber.
Oh, Robin, you say that he might win it, and he looks pretty confident, as you were saying. He sounded that interview.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce the other guy in the bottom left corner. I want to share Hazzies with you.
Well, you know, he's got quite an opponent on his hands here. Spawning is the blue Terran in the bottom right-hand corner, close by air positions. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. From the team SCV Life, it is...
TSL Polt.
So I'm actually a bit curious. Lately, in TBT, we've been seeing a lot of gas openings. For the mere fact that a lot of players like to tech up towards Starport. It's very, very strong. We've been seeing a lot of players going into one Rax expand, but it does look like it's going to be a Rax first into a gas here for, of course, Bombers. Or, I'm sorry, Polt. So, going to be going into Factory, of course. It's going to be a little bit delayed tech compared to normal, and most likely won't be going any Banshee cloak play. But nonetheless, it's just a little bit curious not seeing gas first.
You know, actually, TBT is, with the tendencies of gas first that we've been seeing, it's getting a little bit more coin flippy. Some of these openings are just so powerful. We're seeing like Banshee into a Hellion drop. You can go cloaked Banshee and play Hellion Marine defense at home. And you know, there's all these, and of course, like so many of these. I mean, the Hellion drop compounded with a Banshee like really is good against a one Rax expand opening, for instance. So it's kind of taken on that element where, you know, PvP, you can't really scout each other, and in this matchup, it's equally as difficult once you get that wall off set up, which we've just been seeing more and more of lately. But, well, I mean, we've got the one Rax expand out of Bomber. We see the command center actually. I hope that's a command center being built. Oh, he did drop a later gas down and then goes into the CC. Okay.
Ooh, interesting. We're actually going a Reaper expand here for Polt. Interesting. So he can actually move into Stim back very, very quickly here. Reaper expand, it's okay. It's kind of one of those situations where you're either going to get some scouting information, get a couple SCV kills, or you're going to get nothing and be a little bit behind. So I'm curious where we're going to go from here. There are a couple of builds that originated around going for factory play into second Rax. Interesting. So he's going to be putting a lot of pressure on.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he opts to do with that. You know, okay, so the command center's down. Here's the Reaper. A couple of Marines going to try to deny. Maybe they'll kill the SCV. That would certainly be nice. 4 Bomber Marine in the back. Those go down. And some beautiful control out of Polt, cleaning all that up with no losses.
Reaper was shown there, so we should be having Bomber prepare for that. Of course, he's going to be splitting his Marines in the main and when he gets a couple out, because unfortunately right now he actually threw down a command center and moving into his factory right away. So in the process of teching up, and actually only going to have 1 Marine, he's going to move it down, or 2 Marines, moving it down to the bottom right here, looking for that Reaper. And the Reaper is actually going straight up the ramp, which is kind of different. And here we go, heading straight on in. And will Polt get a scout on the main? It would be very nice for him to do so here.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually not surprised at all we're seeing this Reaper expand. You talk about, like, let's just mention the cyclic nature of, like, the metagame in Starcraft. So now we've got all these gas openings being really common, and you have players going for lots of tech. well, you need to get into their base and see what tech they're going for once again. And a Reaper expand becomes all of a sudden very viable. Whereas against like one Rax expands, it's not so good because players are just getting Marines, they're just making SCVs. There's nothing scary you need to worry about. And so the scouting information a Reaper offers, not so good. But now that we're seeing these, I mean, I like this opening a lot out of Polt. It's a step ahead of the current meta, which is just starting to get into gases, you know?
Well, he has followed in a double reactor barracks as well, so really going to start hammering out the Marines. And look at that, the stim pack again coming down very quickly. And again, that's very quick because he went for the Reaper expand. So he's going to have a lot of firepower available to him. Now the thing is, we have Bomber going for reactor to Hellion right away into Starport, followed up into...
Is that... There's a little thing down here.
Just a cancel. There was a scout went in, but yeah, he's going straight into Banshee and of course Hellion. This is actually a very strong combination. Of course, the Banshees are very good at, of course, finishing off a shot if the Hellion gets a nice splash damage amount on the Marines. So I feel like Bomber's going to have a strong composition against Polt, but of course Polt's going to have splitting on its side here. He's going to be able to use a little bit more skill compared to Bomber in terms of the fight.
All right, as you guys can see, Polt getting around after joining Team TSL. And he's, you know what, not only has he been participating
TSL.
in, oh, actually, okay, I was not aware of that. People regard Polt and Violet as the best English speakers, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. But yeah, guys, so I mean, Polt, you know, they mentioned he does a lot of foreign tournaments, but he does well in them. I'm really anxious to see because Bomber, I've casted a few of his sets now, and this guy, seriously, like, he just does not die. His set versus Symbol, he had a game that was just like, how is he doing this? And his Marine splitting was incredible. It was nuts, man. So either way, here comes the Banshee right now for Bomber. All right, It's going to be swinging in. See if you get any damage in the turret. Yeah, see, it gets vision to the Banshee. That's beautiful turret positioning out of Polt, actually.
It's really good. It zones out the Banshee, and it makes it really hard for Bomber to engage in any way, shape, or form. The Marines are going to kind of jump back and forth here. Now, remember, they do have stim available, but it's going to be really hard to stim up and chase after that unless you know it's a secured kill. So just Polt's going to zone him out there, and it looks like that Banshee won't be doing much damage, unfortunately. It actually takes about half HP away.
This is actually a really nice tell for Polt. Let's point this out. So the Banshee, it had an opportunity there to sit and kite Marines if it wanted to for a long time. You know, pick off some Marines, and get that Marine countdown. Now Polt can feel a little bit safer about the fact that he probably doesn't have a big all-in coming because Bomber's not giving any special attention. You know, he's picking off a supply depot, and now he's just, poking Marines is necessary, but he doesn't seem to be targeting those down specifically, so Polt can feel pretty safe. There's no follow-up.
Yeah, a couple of Marines have died off, and that's about it. And looking over into Bomber, he's actually gotten Siege mode on the way. He's actually gotten a Raven out as well. So looking for a very strong mech play here. The majority of Hellion sitting outside the natural, and I don't believe we've had Polt see us whatsoever, and it looks like that Banshee has been deterred away completely. Very low on HP. It's coming in again. Jeez, Bomber, you are very confident today. Lots of Marines and Marauders now heading out across the middle of the map for Polt.
Yeah, Robin, and you know, this is what we've been seeing from Polt lately. Lots of units, not as many upgrades. He does get them, but he gets them a lot later, and it's been throughout all of his matches, really, here at IPL5. This Banshee getting some damage into the mineral line right now, but the real story is going to be, is Bomber going to be able to hold this push from Polt?
Oh, he's got an SCV sitting out just in time for the scout. A scan does go down, but Siege Tank is available on the high ground here, and he's going to go and siege up, and there we go, sieging on it up. SCV has been brought as well. Yeah, and if you're a Polt, I don't want any of that, man. That's a pretty strong hold there available for Bomber. So essentially, we've had a very safe game for both players.
Crucio shot cannons in the face. I mean, you know, there's nothing too wrong with that.
Nothing too crazy at all. Third command center now on the way for Polt, so just moving up in that Mac-oriented play that he does enjoy. Would like to see maybe a second engineering bay very soon, but he does have one available at the moment, getting level 1 armor for his little bio ball there.
Yeah, that's nice. Polt getting some early upgrades. A little atypical. Armory is being constructed right now for Bomber, so he'll be able to start on his own upgrades in the near future. And how many Vikings does he actually... Oh, the unit tab just appeared to me. But he has a few Vikings. He's making some additional ones as well. And we've also got just a lot of command centers being dropped. Is that... Okay, so that's Bomber's third, actually. Yeah,
Bomber's third. Both players going for the thirds right now. Again, just going into the mid/late game period now, at the point where upgrades are going to become very important here. Armory, of course, going to allow for the upgrades to happen for Bomber in terms of mech. And he's very content here, which is kind of weird. We see him do very heavy drop play, but he's going for mech here. We're going to sit back, defend, and just have a stronger composition going into the late game.
It's very interesting coming out of Bomber here, but, you know, this is such a great map for mech. I mean, you take a look, maps like Entombed Valley and Whirlwind, it's you know, there's just such viability in going for that tech position. Banshee going to cut a couple of SCVs right now for sure. There's really nothing over here to help Polt right now. But he is bringing over some units, and he'll chase this guy off. It's very low on hit points. In fact, these Marines with Stim don't get it down to just 15 hit points.
Oh, man, that is a very dodgy Banshee there. Oh my gosh, those aliens are so loud. I was hearing it in the venue. I was assuming that something was happening, but they're just killing the destructible debris. But nonetheless, Bomber using that Banshee to scout out the third. He's been very active with it. And you know what? Nice little unit there he's had for him. Hasn't had to waste any scans, of course, trying to find out information.
Yeah, it's got 12 kills, that Banshee, and it really reflects. Let's take a look at the supply right now. It's 150 for our mech player.
Yeah.
And 115 for Polt. Polt, you know, he opened up with the Reaper expand, whereas Bomber went 1 Rax expand, so more economic there. He's done a ton of damage with the Banshee. And then we saw Polt try to gear up for this really big timing and have lots of units, and that's an investment, of course, in like a, you know, a timing and a military push. And so Bomber's economy right now is looking really good. Overall, he's just in a fantastic position in comparison to Polt.
Well, Polt's starting to get a few medevacs out at the moment. He's going to have a total of 4 on the map right now, so drops do become available here. It's one way to beat out mech, of course, is dropping all over the place and trying to get them out of position.
Polt is good at that, too.
He is pretty good at that. It looks like he's just looking around the map right now. Going to go ahead and grab the middle of the Zelnaga, checking around, looking for any of that Banshee, because he did see it leave, because the 4th was scouted down there in the bottom left corner, as we do see Polt about to finish that up very, very soon. And I'm looking at Bomber, and I feel like he should be pushing out very soon. He's going to have 2-2 started up for his mechanic weapons after this level 1 finishes up. So I'm actually curious for him to start grabbing the middle of the map, starting to get a little bit of control, starting to choke out Polt a little bit.
Yeah, he's at 175 supply, so he definitely could hit a pre-2-2 timing here, because Polt, you know, he's going to have some serious upgrades in just a minute. But one of the little problems that Bomber has going on, you know, he's actually done a fantastic job translating his resources into units, but he doesn't have any turrets, so he would be vulnerable to drop play while he's pushing out across the map. We'll see. It looks like he may be mobilizing his forces while all the tanks are on siege. He's got the Hellions, the Vikings. Nothing really scouting ahead of his army right now, though, so it is possible he could be caught off guard by a couple of units.
Yeah, well, he's starting to move down the bottom left, and remember, Polt does have that Zelnaga with that Reaper from the very beginning, and here we go, man. Moving across the middle of the map, 2-2 is on the way for Polt. I would really like for him to wait before engaging this army in any way, shape, or form. He is poking at the top left corner, and that's actually slowing down Bomber a lot. Yeah,
Bomber just sacked a Hellion 2 into Polt's unit, so he knows that Polt is around to the left here. Blue Flame Hellions are going to catch some units, and they can't load up into the medevacs, guys, because the Vikings will simply snipe them out of the sky, so he's going to be forced to engage here, make a couple of trades. Definitely not going to be equitable, but Bomber getting the victory here. Polt doing what he can.
Oh man, all these Marines are going to go down immediately here, just trying to trade a couple of Hellions, and I think he got maybe 2, 3 at the most. Vikings taking down all the medevacs in a second here. Going to chase him to the back left corner. Nice play there from Bomber, a nice little catch, and it looks like Polt, again, sitting outside of his natural, a little bit perplexed on how that happened.
This is scary for Polt. Bomber's moving out 190 supply of mech versus Polt's just simple 1-1 Bioforce. He's going to have to do everything he can to hold this, and it's going to be very difficult.
It's not here yet. You can't engage at all, really. It's so hard to engage into the Siege Tank army. And the Siege Tanks are just moving forward. They don't even care. There's only 2, 3, 4 Siege Tanks now starting to siege up, and they are taken care of immediately here. Marauders charging first to deal with the Siege Tanks. So much splash damage available here, but it looks like Polt is doing a good job in this engagement, actually. Vikings finally showing up, and it looks like just barely Bomber is going to lose. Maybe the Marauders are pushing in. He gets the last Siege Tank. It looks like, no, the Vikings land's going to help out a lot. Nice job from Bomber. 127 supply to 104, but Bomber didn't.
But his mech's gone.
Yeah, he's sitting at the natural.
It's even supply now for the most part, and that is not an easy army to replace. Maybe if he had just lost those Hellions, but those tanks took such incredible amounts of damage. It was beautiful target firing out of Polt, and now we've got a pretty even game on our hands.
Well, Bomber is moving to the middle of the map here, feeling a little bit more confident, just wants to grab that Zelnaga. He knows his opponent is on 4 bases at the moment. Checking into the Harvesters really quick. We are at 68 to 60. We do have Polt a little bit ahead, and doesn't really want to go too much more up in terms of SCVs. In fact, I wouldn't mind seeing a few more command centers thrown down pretty soon and start moving to that late game mule economy that we see from a lot of Terran players.
We're seeing more Ravens being produced out of Bomber, actually. Very interesting that he's going to opt to have 2 of them. Working on vehicle weapons 3, getting his armor plating as well now, and adding more starports and command centers. So Bomber looks like he's he's already got a 5th or a 6th. He's got a lot of CCs right now. And, honestly, I mean, his macro is incredibly good for a mech player, and one of the things we're not seeing from Polt is him taking advantage of that with drops.
Well, we do have Bomber moving to +3. Vehicle weapons, and of course +1 armor as well for his vehicles. So starting to move up on those upgrades, and just looking over into Polt really quick, he's still at 2-2, hasn't really elected to go for 3-3 quite yet. He has started moving towards some more mech, gotten some Thors out, which is great against Viking play for the mere fact that they're trying to focus down any medevacs. The Thor, of course, will do a lot of nice splash damage, so it makes it a little bit harder to engage, so I like that play from Polt. And it's expanding down the bottom left corner, so both players, in terms of actually having mineral bases, are kind of even, but again, like we said, we had Bomber adding his own command centers around the map.
Nice Hellion position here for Bomber. He's going to manage to scout these units moving across the side. Bomber currently holding his own Aga Tower and the middle of the map. We can see Hellions. I love this. He's using... But this is going to expose his army in the middle of the map. Let's point that out. Polt may have an opportunity to push on the siege tanks, which are all alone at this time.
Yeah, man, they are very vulnerable at the moment. That was a big risk from Bomber. But
he fell back fast, at least.
But he has effectively made Polt backed up, actually, here. And he scans to make sure he's still in that central location. It looks like he's going to go ahead and try and cut him off once again. This is kind of a weird situation. This is kind of where Bio really excels at, just being within the way. And here we go. Looks like the units may be moving up once again to that 5th base. Are they going to head up there or not? A Viking is here. He does see it right away, and he brings the Hellions back to deal with it.
Yes, he does. And, well, at this point, Polt does not seem too keen on moving out. His units are stationed towards the bottom of the map. We can see the engagement up here is obviously going to go really well for Bomber, and cleaning up all these units very cost efficiently. Meanwhile, Polt's actually moving his forces over to the left-hand side. May follow this up and hope that Bomber forgets to put a unit over there, which Bomber's not doing.
Oh my gosh, and Bomber's actually on sieging. If you saw it by his 4th base, he actually had 3 siege tanks that helped out in that engagement. He allowed for Polt to think that he was safe to go to that 5th, and unfortunately, he was not. Just a smart play there from Bomber, great positioning as well. And he's actually moving out across the middle of the map. Hellions heading down to the bottom right corner, and that's not a planetary, that's actually an orbital. So these Hellions can do a nice amount of damage. Fortunately for Polt, there isn't that many SCVs there.
Oh, we may see the start of a base race on our hands right now as Polt is going to go for the expansions out here of Bomber. Meanwhile, Bomber going to be moving into the 4th, and he will subsequently continue running in, most likely to Polt's base. I mean, trying to come home to deal with this. Polt's going to quickly snipe out this planetary, and Polt's mobility here may be a huge factor in this base race, Robin.
Oh man, Marauders destroy that planetary fortress right away, and it actually looks like Bomber's going to start moving back from the middle of the map. He wants to get rid of this bio armor. Will Polt be able to maneuver around the area? Unfortunately, there is a sensor tower available, so Bomber does know he's coming. Is he going to siege up in time? He may have sieged up a little bit too late. No. Looks like Polt's going to go ahead and move on back, heading to the top right corner. He has been stimming a lot, and his medevac count's actually kind of low for this late in the game.
He cannot lift these units and fly away. Polt's army could end up a little bit trapped right now, but Bomber, which way is he going? No, he's going to come home here. Does snipe a command center. I think that was on the high ground, and he's coming around the banana hallway. He's going to force an engagement with these Hellions, but Polt looks like he's home free now.
Polt has been doing fantastic in terms of maneuvering around the map, but we're going to have an engagement. It looks like these siege tanks are actually in a really weird choke. The Concave's a little bit better for Polt there, takes out a couple of siege tanks, a few Hellions as well, and those Hellion numbers have started to fall very quickly here for Bomber.
Yeah, that was a really nice engagement for Polt. He killed a lot of Hellions, lost a couple Marauders, but Marauders versus Hellions, that's a win any day of the week.
Well, 3-3 is about to finish up for Polt, and he's feeling very confident. Now moving across the middle of the map here, the Hellions are going to be in range of siege tanks. No, they're going to go on back. Missile turret does go down.
Robin, we have 13 siege tanks on the field right now for Polt. That is an incredibly large number for our bio player.
Let me give you a bigger number. Bomber's at 22.
Well, yeah. I mean, this isn't nice for Polt because he's not going for the drop play. Yeah. So this is going to give him a better ability to engage heads up against Bomber's army.
Well, it also lets him like kind of section off the parts of the map with siege tanks. He's able to sit back and keep moving his Marines and Marauders around the map, which he's been doing fantastic on all game. And look at that. Looks like he's going to be coming to the natural once again, poking down a missile turret. And it looks like Hellions, such a few siege tanks will come and try to defend it here. Going to have the engagement, stems up and runs forward here. Is he going to be able to take it? I think he may have overextended, and he sure has. A lot of Marauders do die off there, and that bio force is essentially halved.
Oh, this is a crazy game right now. We are seeing both of these players just duke it out, keeping their banks low. Nobody really breaking 2,000 of anything at this time. But, you know, let's point out that Bomber has had this base up in the top left-hand corner running for some time. And Polt, on the other hand, you know, he's just getting that 4th reestablished, and we could see him in the future start running pretty low on money if he can't get things rolling.
Oh, Bomber's still moving up, and Raven's got another one on production here. He's going to have a total of 6 very soon as well, moving up to 1-1 on terms of ship plating, so his air weapons are going to be very strong there as well. And the same thing for Polt. He's actually going +1 armor as well, so his medevac should be able to retain a nice amount of damage for a little bit there. But the Hellions actually sneak into this 4th base, gonna get off a few shots here, gonna increase the worker count. It looks like a 23, 25, still moving up. Siege tanks will deal with those Hellions right away, but he is forced to lift no matter what.
Robin, Marauders and Marines coming in from the back. Polt doing some nice damage to the mech here, but let's just talk about, we were mentioning how Polt was in a tough economic position, and now he just lost a lot of SCVs to that 4th base. Bomber may just be able to contain and outlast Polt from this point, who is currently only at 140 supply.
Literally, Polt is stuck in the bottom right corner of the map, and it doesn't look like he's going anywhere soon, unfortunately. With sensor towers up in the natural and the middle of the map, Bomber literally knows every move of Polt's. He's just going to sit here and wait. He said there's one Marine on the sensor tower, and that's it.
There is so little anti-air here. Where are the SCVs to repair this command center? 2 Vikings remaining. Bomber's going to move them away, and it looks like, they are actually hiding under the command center.
Well, Ravens came in and landed a couple of Seeker missiles on top of those siege tanks there and did a little bit more damage as well. Took a few of them out. And these medevacs, look how low they are in HP as well. In terms of engagement, if Bomber's able to snipe those right away, that Bio Force is just going to melt immediately here. Want to see Bomber maybe start moving towards expansion once again in the top left corner. Just take the whole map, man. Become a Zerg player for a minute.
Oh, man.
Geez. And it looks like some Thors are also on the map as well, going to help in terms of really taking that siege tank damage that he might have to have if he has to go straight to a full-on engagement.
Robin.
What's up?
Okay, finally some units being made. They're going to be battle cruisers, actually.
Ooh.
That's a Polt transitioning into. We did see that fusion core, of course, going down a while ago. This is a very expensive tech path for Polt to go down, but let's point out, he's sitting on 1,500 gas, so I actually really like this decision. There's not much of a better way you could spend your money, but does he have any ship weapon upgrades?
He does have +1 on him currently at the moment, and there's a little bit of engagement going on in the top right corner. This command center is trying to land, but Bomber's there. Like, I really don't see him taking this base. Oh, he's gonna move his whole army though, and there's only 3 siege tanks here and a Thor and a few Hellions. He should be able to actually break through this. There we go. He's doing so right away. A couple siege tanks do fall as well as the Hellions, and it looks like Polt will land this base, but is it gonna help him out that much? Oh, a couple of medevacs are actually getting sniped here. And it looks like
cleans it all up. This is so important for Polt, and actually, I love that he took this base. Robin, you mentioned earlier how Polt has the ability with these siege tanks to section off parts of the map while he's mobile with his Marines and his Marauders. This gives him a fantastic ability. Right now, for example, he's running in, maybe he's going to be able to get something done, and if an engagement happens, if Bomber tries to push into the siege tank line, his Marines and Marauders are right there because the main base of Bomber is only a few feet away.
Man, Polt was being a little gutsy there. He actually ran straight to the natural and then realized there was too many units that had to pull back, but look at this. He does get the base secured. Mules are once again going to start mining once again. 199 supply to 152, plus 2-2 on the way for Bomber, just moving up in upgrades. Infinite amount of money going to be available for him too, as he's got 3 command centers here. Should actually start sacrificing some more SCVs pretty soon, if I were him. But nonetheless, it looks like for now, Polt's just going to sit back and wait till he gets a few of those battle cruisers on the field.
Yeah, you know, Polt, he's got just starting +1 weapons right now, and I mean, Bomber's working on +2. He just finished +2, in fact, and Polt's just starting +1. Yeah, he's got battle cruisers, which are now on the map, mind you. He's really going to have to use these extremely efficiently, and Bomber's not going to give him a lot of time to make decisions on how to do that. He's moving already into this pocket of Polt where, I mean, he's really surrounded here. This is going to be a seriously important engagement.
He's running straight to the natural here. Really, there's not that much anti-air. There's a couple of Thors here. Some PTDs have been thrown down. That's helping out a lot. Where's this Vikings? Vikings are actually on the side, but it looks like Polt has more Vikings. He takes the air superiority here, and now battle cruisers can literally just kill off these Thors, and it forces Bomber to pull back.
Oh, this is so important for Polt, guys. He's going to push back the push of Bomber, and now, with the lack of anti-air, he'll be able to chase down this army with his battle cruisers. Bomber's going to be scrambling to make Vikings.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know how Polt's staying on this long. We're past 30 minutes now, Kibbles, and it looks like he's taking a bit of a lead here. Going to start moving forward, grabbing the Zelnaga, and suddenly Bomber's on the run. He's actually going down to the bottom left corner with all of his siege tanks.
There have been over 25,000 resources lost for both players this game. Symbol, that was a great thing to point out, but now we see the effects of the anti-air lacking from Bomber as he's losing siege tanks for free right now to these battle cruisers, and suddenly Polt is clawing and nailing his way back into this game.
These siege tanks are just being destroyed right underneath the battle cruisers. They're still pretty full on HP as well. You can keep maneuvering forward. The siege tanks are moving forward, like you mentioned, down to the 3rd and natural, but really does Polt care at this time? He's got a few Marines, a few Marauders, so he should be able to deal with them if he gets a nice engagement. He's actually sieging up his own siege tanks in the top left corner of the map. Planetary Fortress under siege, and he's actually got a really good position. Bomber can't engage, he has no units around.
He doesn't, and you know what? If Polt can get to the air, to the starports right now that are pumping out Vikings, if he finds these in the top left, Polt could easily win this game from Bomber being unable to just produce Vikings. The battle cruisers could kill everything. He would just need to fly a couple of buildings, but we've got a base race in full swing right now, folks. It is Polt versus Bomber, a race to the finish.
Well, Polt's also moving towards Raven. He has 3 on the way as well. It's going to be quite helpful against the siege tank line if he needs to turn the defense. He can land a nice Seeker missile and take out a lot of HP, as well as join him up with his air army. Here we go. What are you knowing about Kibbles?
Oh, he's throwing away Thor. The anti-air for Bomber right now is so incredibly important. He cannot afford to lose a single unit. Look at the amount of Vikings here out of Polt. Guys, this will come down to flying buildings, most likely, and now an engagement already happening. Do the Ravens have Seeker missiles? I don't see any flying. It looks just like PDD's making the difference there.
Yeah, he forced Polt to pull back, but look at these SCVs are ripe for the picking here. Battlecruisers going down on them, and it looks like one Battlecruiser did fall to those Vikings, so Polt's arm gets a little bit weaker there, but nonetheless still moving forward, and it looks like from here we have 31 to 12 Harvesters, and the number is quickly falling.
Well, Bomber has he's still got these starports pumping out Vikings, and he's the one bringing in money right now. It's 1,200 minerals per minute to 300 for Polt, so Polt is not making anything right now, and the longer this game goes with those starports still on the field, the more anti-air Bomber's going to be able to make, and he may be able to reassert control of the skies.
Oh man, this is really scary. 7 Hellions on the way here for Bomber. He's going to try and do some maneuverability going to natural and whatnot, trying to finish off the rest of this tech, and of course production here for Polt. And these CJs are doing a good job the whole time. They're down here in the bottom right destroying everything, but at the same time, Polt's doing the same to his base. That natural has finally fallen. In fact, there's actually no mineral patches left. It's just a bare canvas there. But it looks like this main now in trouble. 3 factories just being pelted upon by these battlecruisers. Siege tanks moving forward as well. But we do have Bomber on the top left of the map, really cranking out a nice amount of Vikings, of course, just doing whatever he can. Like you said, he has an economy available.
He really does. And you know what? Let's take a look right now at the state of the air of both of these players. So if you hit the units tab, we're going to see 15 Vikings, 4 Bomber, who also has 2-2 for ship weapons, remember,
yeah,
to 13 Vikings. So Bomber has more Vikings. He's also got more Ravens, 6 Ravens to 2. Are there any Thor on the field? No, so that's not a factor. The only thing Polt has in his favor right now is these 2 battle cruisers. That's all he's got. And Bomber, is he still making? He's still making Vikings right now. So this is looking really bad for Polt.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just looking at the supply as well, 153 to 85, and he actually has Polt supply blocks at the moment. He's killed too many supply depots, and at this point, he's going to try and kill some supply depots of his opponent in the top right corner, but for now, Bomber has a little bit of wiggle room to create a few more units, and we see him doing so, creating a few more Vikings. When it comes to a head-up engagement, you're right, Bomber's going to win it straight up. He has the upgrade advantage, he has the air advantage. Just going to straight up win, so Polt's going to have to try and do something in terms of maybe baiting that army out somewhere, kill off a few more bases. It's going to be hard for him to come back and potentially win this game, but he can certainly do it, man. He's been doing fantastic the whole game.
Well, it's at Unit C. Does he have any SCVs left? Because he needs to build starports. He's got 1. He's got 1 SCV. To win this game, the best he can do right now is force a draw and kill all the air units, but he's got no Thor, he's got less air. I don't think Bomber can win this.
Yeah, 2 bases are mining, 3 bases are mining. Bomber's got this on the lockdown, man. He's actually moving now with all his Vikings and Ravens. And when it comes to a straight-up fight, like we said, BDD is going to be a huge factor here. We've got more energy. Seeker missiles as well are going to be fantastic for these clumping up units. Siege tanks and Vikings both will take a nice amount of damage. And here we go, the flank from the side. The battlecruisers are vulnerable, and the Vikings are just destroying. Look at the health bars. The battlecruisers just straight up dying, and Bomber moves forward once again. Polt is going to go ahead and go. Bum rush into the siege tanks. This game looks like it's going to be over. Here comes the crush here from Bomber. Potentially could even land his Vikings. Oh, auto turrets happening as well. Where are the mule drops from Bomber? He hasn't got them quite yet, but there they are! Bomber takes game number 1.
Give it up for Bomber, guys! He is 1 game closer to facing up against the Zerg. Guys, he looks pretty serene right now, but he did just take a game off Polt, and that says a lot, because at this tournament, Polt has, if he's lost a game, he's lost a set.
Jeez, man. Bomber just playing differently than we expected him to. We expected him to be the dropping everywhere, being all over the place, just using APM out the rear, but instead he actually just went for mechanical play, sat back for a little bit, waited for his opportunity, and just had straight up great engagements. He actually stopped the Bioforce from maneuvering too much and didn't do much damage to his economy, so fantastic job by Bomber. I'm excited for game number 2.
I am as well. It's definitely going to be a sight to see. Polt in that game, Robin, he just didn't have the economy. He did a great job switching to that air, and it didn't look like Bomber was quite ready for it, but Bomber was running on like 6 bases, I believe, and it was just too much. So, guys, we'll be moving shortly into game number 2 in just a second. We're going to cut to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. This is IPL5, Bomber versus Polt, game number 2, coming up.